What's up, you guys? It's JCARDENASART, and in this video you're going to see me do a digital painting of a cardinal. So let's get started. Alright, so the very first thing I do in this part of the drawing is do a rough quick sketch of the cardinal. I focus mostly on the composition. I don't worry too much about the details. At first it's just basic blobs and shapes and just marks just to know where everything's going to be. Once I have that down, I start blocking in. As you see, I blocked in with the red for the cardinal. I'm blocking in the tree branch, and I'm gonna focus on just tightening up everything and then slowly add in the lights and the darks. Can't forget to block in the background and so on. Once that's done, the whole blocking in stage, you want to go back in and you want to add in the lights and the darks. I like to work either dark to light or light to dark. I don't like to jump around too much. But in most of my paintings, you will see that I work dark to light. If you prefer to go light to dark, or if you prefer to just work in one color at a time, or one shade at a time, or you like to stick to one area at a time instead of jumping around like I do, please don't take everything I say personally, or like it has to be this way, because it doesn't. At the end of the day, what matters is that the process that you're doing it is what's working for you, and you like the way it's coming out, and you like the final piece, and you like, you know, it's your technique. It's gonna, at the end of the day, it's your style, so you need to enjoy that. I'm only telling you how I like to do it. But yeah, I got very carried away with the feathers on the cardinal. I really enjoyed adding in the lights and the darks. As you can see, in some areas I got really tiny with the brush strokes, that I got to the point where I had to, like, all right, let me step back from the bird and let me work on the tree branch. And that's where I'm at right now. With the tree branch, I started off with really light browns and beige, and then I got darker as I went. This time around I went light to dark instead of dark to light. I got really fine with the marks, and I made it look as scratchy as I possibly can, because, you know, it is wood, it is a tree branch. It's not like perfect little marks. It's kind of everywhere. As I worked on the tree branch, I noticed that the little feet of the bird were kind of getting lost in the tree branch, so I had to emphasize on where they were. So I worked on that a little bit as well. I did jump around in different colors, different tones of the brown and grays and reds and such, to really make it stand out from the tree branch itself. I didn't want it to blend like it was doing in the beginning. After working on the feet for a little bit, I went back into the bird and I added in darker areas, for example, where the wing is and near the face, under the belly, and so on. And yeah, I just added in little details. In this part of the drawing, you can get a little more detailed, get a little more precise, start playing around with the colors a little bit if you haven't started that already. You want to tighten up shapes. For example, here in the beak, I'm really putting in the overall shape of the beak, where the lights and the darks are. You know, right here, for example, I'm adding in the darkest spots of the bird itself. Once I have these spots down, I can work backwards and kind of darken up everything else if I want to, or I can lighten up. In this case, I'm choosing to darken up. I'm going to come in with a different red, a little more orangey red, and kind of scatter all over the bird and see how that works. I'm going to come in with a different shade of lighter red, maybe like a peachy color, and add that in and see how that works. It's just a constant back and forth with the colors and the highlights and the shading and such. You'll get the hang of it, you know, working your way. Like I said, whatever works for you works best. I like this trial and error thing with the colors and the shapes. It makes the whole process for me much more interesting. This painting took me quite some time because I spent a lot of time putting in those really small strokes in the feather, and at one point I did the same thing with the tree branch when I went back into it. For example, right here, I worked on that for a little bit, and then I zoomed out and I noticed I didn't do much with the background yet, so I added in different shades of green until I found one that really made the bird pop. once I had that down, I noticed that the bird needed a bit more highlights. For example, on the face, the black was it was too flat. So I added in lighter grays. The highlight on the wings, I thought it was already pretty light, but I felt like it could have gotten much lighter. So I added in like a really nice kind of like orange. I did the same thing throughout the whole bird. I added in little highlights on the beak, a little bit on the eyes, for example. I kept working on that black, and then I really liked the light gray that I added to the black, and I scattered it on the bird. If you notice here, like around the wing and the neck, and it just, I felt like it was a perfect addition to it. And I added just a slightly darker shade to the belly of the bird. I just kept playing around with that color. I really liked it. And then I added in a little more highlights here and there, for example on the eye, and a little bit more on the black on the face. I really like the way it's all coming along. I did feel like the background needed a lighter green, so I did add that in there, and I felt like it was the perfect final touch. You can see it just right about now. And yeah, I signed it and I called it quits. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.